Hey, wanted to make a new video going over the curation strat I've been doing for the past few days. If you watched my stream, you probably have seen it. First, I'll show some gameplay. So yeah, this is a full investment, full juice creation strat. So we're using 4 div scarabs. Shaper Allflames are very expensive and very good. I'll explain about that later. And Deli Beyond, strong boxes. That's the basics of the strategy. And as you can see, we just drop a ton of loot. Even tier 0 has got a square right there. A lot of divination cards and all that. So yeah, I want to talk about the whole strategy, how good the strategy is, and mostly why you shouldn't do this strategy in the first place. Majority of people, I would say probably 99.9%, like actually 99.9% of people probably should not do this strategy, and I'll explain why. So yeah, but this is the whole gameplay of it. I just clear the map, like rush to the boss, so you get no boss altars, right? That's why you rush to the boss, kill the boss, and then you just clear the whole map. And then you have to clean the whole map, loot the whole map, right? That's it. So yeah, a little bit more gameplay, but pretty much all the same. It's classic Deli Beyond ambush max juice, pretty similar to some other past leagues. And Penetrator, as you can see, 64 buffs. You get carried PR Penetrator in this maps because you just kill a lot of rare monsters. So yeah, enough for the gameplay. So let's talk about the strat now. So I guess first things first, why you should not do this strategy. Most people should not do this. It's really the expense. So Shaper Allflames is the main focus of this cost and like the strat itself, right? You might think, oh, Curation is the expensive part. No, Curation is cheap compared to Shaper Allflames. So here's the cost of Shaper Allflames, you're wondering. In bulk prices, they are currently 3.2 divines, 3.3, probably more so this 3.4, 3.5 range, right? And you use 4 to 5 of these a map, anywhere between 3 and 5. It really depends, I'll explain that as well. But yeah, use 3 to 5 of these a map. So if you have to use 5 in one map, that's 17 divines, plus curation, plus the map cost, plus completion. Your map's costing 30 divines, up to 30 divines for a singular map. Now keep in mind, the reason why I'm doing this strategy is because I got these Shaper Allflames in bulk for 2.5 divines each. So then of course I started streaming it, and yeah, the prices drastically rose up. So yeah, that's the first thing. These are mandatory for the strategy, and they are very expensive. I would not advise you to do this strategy at the current prices, at least as a solo player. You will still make profit long term with these prices, but it's not something I can advise unless you're very rich, because this strategy is long term profits. Eventually you will get like a unrequited love full stack, you will get a apothecary full stack, Nimmy's full stack, etc., right? That's not going to happen in your first map. That's why I don't advise it unless you have a mirror or maybe 2 mirrors, actually 2 mirrors to invest into your map supplies. So yeah, I just want to get a fair warning because I don't want people to do the strategy, they do 5 maps and then go broke, because that is a very realistic outcome. So let's talk about the strategy. So why do we use Shaper Allflames in the first place? So this Allflame spawns a ton of rare monsters that also scales your map pack size. What do I mean by a ton of rare monsters? We are spawning 600 plus rare monsters in a map. 600 plus rare monsters is more than doubled of what we got in Affliction. In some cases, almost tripled. It's an obscene amount of rare monsters, and it's why it's so good and so highly valuable. So yeah, like I said, we use 4 to 5 of these, sometimes 3 if it's really bad mods, but next is the map. So the map we're running is a Shaper Touch map, the bottom mod there, and rare monsters each have 2 additional modifiers. This is very important. It makes all your rare modifiers, like I said, you have 600 plus, right? Just have a lot more quant and rarity. Shaper Touch, as far as we know, gives a 30% quant bonus to all the monsters it affects. And a +2 rare modifiers is a ton of bonus quant to every rare monster in the map. So you're very juicy. You also want the highest pack size you can get. As like I said, the Shaper Allflame scales the pack size. So the higher pack size you have on the map, the more rare monsters you're going to have. So very important to have really good pack size here. You can also do Shaper Touch maps with like 90% pack size and no +2 rare modifiers. That is also pretty good. I buy these maps personally. I don't use my rejects. I don't like roll for them. I just buy them off trade. They cost anywhere from like 3 to 5 divines, and you have to run some pretty bad mods. Like this one has less recovery with flash charges, something like negative max, etc. These are pretty hard to buy and pretty annoying to buy at times. You can try to roll for it, but yeah. Next, of course, is the 4 Divination Scarabs. So, Curation, Completion, 2 Div Scarabs, nothing to replace here. You can't use Preservation. It's not worth it because Shaper Allflames are all the cost. So yeah, don't ask about Preservation. It's never worth it for the strategy. And then Atlas Tree real quick, just to show it off. Also, I'll just link down below, of course. Yeah, like I said, we're focused on Deli, take all the deli nodes, beyond, and then ambush on our map device. And then a ritual for more natural mob spawn. So if you're unsure how ritual and shrine works, they both spawn additional base mobs in your map, and Shaper Allflames replace the base monsters in your map, natural spawn monsters, with these Shaper monsters. So you'll get more Shaper monsters if you take stuff like ritual and shrine. You don't even have to do the ritual, and it's still just more monsters. Although you do the ritual, the strategy, it is pretty important, as they do respawn the Shaper monsters. So yeah, ritual and shrines for more natural spawn monsters, deli and beyond just for a lot of extra monsters, right? Pretty basic, standard juice. And yeah, really want to take all these ultra pack size, because quant and div dupe, if you get div dupe in this farm, it's an insane value. Yeah, and like I said, ambush on the map device for essentially more natural spawn monsters, as natural spawn monsters are put into the box, and then you open the box. Yeah. And now though, let's talk about the long-term rewards of this strategy. So the long-term rewards of this strategy is, of course, the Unrequited Love, the 7 Years of Bad Luck, Apothecary, and Fire the Unknown Origin. The most profitable card is actually the Fortunate, because of how common it is, and it's a 12 stack, which combos really well with completion. 20% chance to drop as a full stack. Go DD real quick. So yeah, Fortunate is actually like your best card. It's your most consistent card and what you actually make the most money from. Or I think it might be Unrequited Love. I'm kind of unsure, but yeah, these two are like the big ones. And this card is the reason why this strat is very inconsistent and why it's only good long term. So long term, you will drop this as a full stack, but keep in mind this is 3 times more rare than Apothecary. So it's not going to happen in your first 20 maps most likely, and probably not going to happen in your first 40 maps. So eventually you will drop this as a full stack, and this is where the estimated value of like 25 divines per map is coming from. This card alone. Its mirrors currently are like what, 600 divines? So yeah, drop this as a full stack, 570 divines right there. So yeah, this is why I don't recommend the strategy, because unless you just don't, if you don't drop this long term, your profit per an hour, profit per map is not going to be insane. Same for stuff like Apothecary and Nimmies. You know, you do need to drop Nimmies full stack eventually, even though it's not that rare. It's as rare as the Doctor card. It's roughly 3 times more common than Apothecary. But yeah, you have to drop this as a full stack to eventually make profit and get that 25 divine hour estimate. So yeah, it is very RNG, but long term you will make profit. But this is why I can't suggest this strategy to anyone watching, because you could just do 10 maps, drop none of these cards, drop none of them full stack, maybe drop 1 Nimmies card and that's it, but not full stack, and you might just lose currency. So, you know. Outside of that, 7 years is pretty consistent, and full stack's also very nice on this one. Yeah, these are the main money making cards. Scarabs and Shaper Allflame. One other thing to go over real quick is, so the map, and I had this one set up already, but if you get this model right here, 600% increased item quant, something you can do is actually spec out of your Atlas tree. So I personally spec out of these quant nodes right here, and these 2 beyond nodes. And then if you spec into these nodes and get Devote Pursuit and a Devoted Modifier effect, this will then go up to 840% item quant. So that's a little bit extra min-max you can do, and it's very, very well worth it, as giving your Shaper Allflame that 840% quant is massive. So I can recommend. And also, to touch on this, what do I use? So use Shaper Allflame on every single normal and above monster. So in this case, I would use Shaper Allflames on all of these. But I can get very, very expensive, right? You buy some 3.5 divines in bulk. This is like 17 divines right here, not cheap. And then you use rats on any low or very low monsters. So in this case, we only have 1 very low, and 1 rat would go right here. The rat as in, yeah, Allflame Ember of Rats. Yeah, that's how you use your Allflames. Shaper Allflame everything normal and above, except if it's normal with negative pack size, then I use a rat instead. So yeah, that's about the whole strat. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. Like I said, I do not recommend this strat, but I do like making these videos to share the strats of what I'm doing on stream and all that, so more people are aware of what I'm doing. And if you do want to try it out, if you do have the currency, go for it. But like I said, if you don't have a mirror or at least 2 mirrors to invest into the strategy, I would not recommend it. At the current prices, I don't think it's even that good for a solo strategy. It's kind of only a group play strategy at the current prices. I brought these at 2.5 divines each, and I think at that price it was pretty good. It was pretty good profit. Now with the current price of like 3.5 divines each, I don't really think it's worth it as a solo player. So yeah, that's about it.